My name is Levi, and I was addicted to alcohol and cocaine. I got into college. I went through a bad breakup, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with my life, and I had a lot of depression. And I was in a fraternity, so it was all around, and it just seemed like the thing to do at the time. So I started drinking a lot, and selling cocaine was an easy way to make money in college. And I was selling it, so I started using it. There were a lot of drugs, just those seemed to be my favorites. And when I got out of college, I was just still selling cocaine. It was good money, and it was an easy way to just continue my drinking and just continue blocking out whatever I wasn't sure about, or I was scared about, or anything that I didn't want to think about. I actually traveled abroad to China in between high school and college, and the drinking age was kind of relaxed there. So I was drinking the whole time. I was 17. I used alcohol as a way to fit in and meet more people. I wasn't very social unless I was drinking. And I kind of just decided to sleep with as many girls as I could and just kind of be, out there and sleep around. And so I used sex and alcohol to fill the hole that I had. And I just kept needing more and more the more I drank. I was pretty much drinking every day, going to class drunk. And I failed my first semester at college. My parents stopped paying for college, so I started having to work a lot. And my second semester of college, I had to get a lot of work done at one point, and someone gave me Adderall. So I really liked it, and I started drinking on it. So it helped me drink more and more and more without acting too crazy. I really liked that, and I decided to do some other pills, and eventually someone gave me cocaine. Like I said, I don't really remember when it was, but I know that after my second semester, I went to the mountains to work and try to raise some money to pay for school, and I started selling cocaine and marijuana up there. My parents were pretty frustrated. I wouldn't, go to class, or when I did, I was drunk, so I wasn't doing well. I had a lot of debt by then because I had moved into places, couldn't pay for them. All my friends kind of started to not like me. If you knew me for too long, you wouldn't like me. I would just kind of do stupid things and say stupid things, and I was constantly drunk, and I didn't keep friends for very long. I pissed a lot of people off, and I really couldn't go anywhere without seeing someone that didn't like me. A lot of people were just, people that I sold drugs to, and I hung out with them, and all of my relationships ended because of my drug use and drinking. I lied to so many people about everything. My last girlfriend didn't even know, I was selling drugs. If she did, it was just pot. I said a lot of things that I regret to a lot of people, especially my ex-girlfriends. And so it just really tore every relationship I ever had apart, with my family, my friends, my sister. Anybody that knew me knew I was just a drunk and I was an asshole. I used to just tell myself that I'm not an alcoholic. I just, I'm in college. That's what a college kid is supposed to do, is drink a lot and, experiment and try drugs. And when I wasn't in college anymore, I just told myself, well, I'm young. A lot of time I wasn't even 21 yet. As time went on, I was drinking and driving every day, all day. I had to wake up in the middle of the night to drink because I couldn't go back to bed. I couldn't go a day without drinking, and my friends used to try to take my keys, but I drilled out my ignition cylinder so I could start it without keys. I didn't have any locks. They couldn't lock my car. And I started to kind of realize when I couldn't go a day without drinking that it was pretty bad. Eventually, I had some consequences. I got in some bad situations with drug dealers and owed a lot of people a lot of money. I got a DUI along with a lot of drug charges. I had over 150 open containers in my car. I had drugs, paraphernalia. I started to go to AA meetings, and I went to a couple, and it didn't really seem like it was for me. So I kept using and kept drinking, and I was getting more and more into debt. I couldn't pay my rent. I was having to borrow money from a lot of people. My friends stopped hanging out with me. I made a couple attempts on my life. I would drive and drink really early in the morning. I would take Ambien and drive down the highway doing as fast as my Jeep would go, usually about 100 miles an hour, and just try and fall asleep and crash into something and make it look like an accident. I know I crashed into guardrails a couple times, but I never had any injuries, no, other real consequences. One of the times that I crashed into a guardrail, I got out of my car. I had to get out the other side because my door was all bent up. I crawled out of the other side and just laid in the middle of the road about 4 o'clock in the morning and just cried. And I remember praying for God to either kill me or help me. And I know it was about a month later that I went to my parents' house, and there was a lot of people there, and it was an intervention. And they told me that if I didn't go to rehab, I was going to go to jail. They were going to pick me up from work the next day, so I had to do at least 45 days. And when I got there, everybody, kind of had the same story as me, and I realized that, I do need to quit or else I'm going to kill myself. I was put on a plane, and I didn't really even know where I was going. I got drunk on the plane, and I was pretty drunk when I landed. I came into rehab, and I remember the only reason I was there was because if I didn't, I was going to go to jail. So everybody seemed kind of too nice. And it was weird. My first couple of days were kind of really, really eye-opening for me. I remember the first meeting we went to in rehab, I saw people smiling, and I couldn't understand it. I figured they were the people running the meeting because they can't be actual addicts, because why would they be happy to be going to get help for an addiction? They can't be happy. I'm not happy. I wasn't in a good place. I was depressed, and it didn't make sense to me. And I started to hear people share and realized that these people had been through worse things than I had been. These people have been in worse situations, using worse drugs, and they were happy now. and genuinely laughing and happy to see each other. And it was really weird. But I realized that if I was planning on killing myself, this is the one thing I hadn't tried. It was hard, kind of getting back on my feet, being in the real world again, but just following the suggestions that I was given. I got a job, and it wasn't a great job. I worked at a gas station for a year, and but I can tell you that I was happier working at a gas station making $8 an hour than I ever was at any of my other jobs making $13, $14, $20 an hour. But I was also miserable at the gas station at some times when I showed back up in the rooms and I took more suggestions and I worked with a sponsor, and that's when things would get better again. And so I've had my ups and downs in recovery. I've been depressed in recovery, and the main thing that I see is that the amount of time and the lows when I'm depressed is just gets less and less as time goes on, and I'm able to get out of it better and just get back to living my life and being happy. And I haven't done anything that I really regretted in a long time. I have a relationship with my parents today. I have a relationship with my sister. And when I, start dating someone and it doesn't go well, or, I just realize that I'm worth it to not get too down about it and get depressed like I used to, or, and I used to think that there was no other option left other than to kill myself and that life would never get better. But now I can't dream of killing myself because there's too much I want to do and too many people I want to help. And it would just, that's the last thing I want to do is die right now. If anybody's out there, who needs help, I would say just, make that first step and just keep chugging, because it's not easy, but it's well worth it, and there's always hope. And if someone like me can, make amends for the things that they did and enjoy life, then anybody can. What do you have to lose?